Today's podcast is with my dear friend Pranita. Pranita and I have worked together for about 3 years at this point, and what I love about her is that she knows to dream. She's not had a obstacle-free, simple life, right? Like most of us. But through those obstacles and through those hardships, she has continued to dream and only make her dreams bigger and bigger as time passes by. And for that, I admire her. You will also listen towards the end of the podcast. We do an exercise in manifestation, and it may help you. So I'm excited for this podcast with Pranita Panditrao, a brand strategist and my dear friend. Hey Pranita, so nice to have you here today.
Hi, very excited.
Yeah. So
Feels
we've
like
been
I
friends.
talk to you every day. So
I
just
know we've been friends for some time now. We've worked together
yes,
um, on multiple projects in multiple ways. And
yes.
um, I feel like you have a special story to tell. And so, welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, I know you, but for people who are listening, tell us,
Hmm.
who are you?
Okay, so I am Pranita Panditrao. I am from Pune, born and brought up in Pune. So I will call myself Punekar very proudly. I am 26-year old and I am an advertising professional and a budding entrepreneur. I can say it now. I feel so nice to say that now. But yes, I'm a budding entrepreneur. I'm in the process of setting up my ad agency. And for the last 2.5 years, I've been working as a freelancer for multiple projects, like different ones, which includes one for you, of course. And yeah, I have. I mean, it's weird when I tell people that I have 10 years of experience in advertising field. They are like, "But you're just 26. How 10 years?" So that is basically where my story starts. 10 years back when I was 17. You know. So yeah, I am an advertising professional for the last 9.5 10 years. I have done multiple internships in worked at different firms, small, large firms, startups, anything and everything possible, so I've also like worked as marketing ambassador for, like, I've done all sorts of jobs in my career trajectory till now. So yeah, that's about me.
All I heard was you're an amazing advertising professional, but I didn't get to know who you really are. So you said you started working at 17. I think that is something I'd like to learn a little bit more about, or everybody will gain from learning. Tell me, how was that?
Okay, so I had just given my 12 board exams. Okay, and everyone, all my friends were going for these camps with your friends. You go to like Rishikesh river rafting or Jim Corbett, all of that in the
Uh-huh.
summer break. And actually, I took science after 10th because I wanted to be a doctor. That is where
Really?
it was. Yes, I wanted to be a doctor. Today, when I see it, I would have been a terrible doctor because just terrible. But I wanted to be a doctor, and my father did tell me that that this is not something you should do. But he was always this kind of person that he will advise me not to do something, but and then he knows that I'm a stubborn child, so I will do what I want to do. So he will let me make my decisions, make mistakes, fall, and then he also taught me to, like, pick yourself up. But he told me not to take science, you will like be terrible at it, which I was.
It is
Then
so funny. Didn't everybody back then want to be a doctor? I have a similar story too. I wanted to
yeah,
be a doctor.
yeah,
It was
I
like
think
this, the best thing to be
yes,
is to be a doctor. If you're a doctor,
yes.
you're amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah, doctor, you're amazing, exactly. So, and also, like, I have a doctor family, like not my parents but my uncle, auntie, and everybody. So I was always as a child interested in, like, curious about human body. And I used to love in school or college to dissect, like, cockroaches and all. I used to love it. It was my favorite. It was my playground,
And then
basically.
and then how were you not good at science?
I was good at science. I was terrible at maths. But I'll tell you what, I was in 12th standard. I had applied for, back then, I don't know if it's changed now, but back then it was NEET, which was medical entrance exam. I applied for that and I did not appear because I couldn't study so much. I just couldn't. It was so hard for me to even study for 12th board exams, even for like sit at one place and study for 4 hours. Imagine, to give entrance exam, you would have to study so much. So it was difficult. But coming back to your question, um, yeah, after 12th board exam, until I gave the exam, I knew I was going to like go into medical. But then because I just dropped out of medical entrance exam and all of that, after 12th, I had really no clue what I'm going to do. If I pass, then in which field I'm going to take admission in first year and all of that, I had no clue. And that is why my dad did not allow me at that time to go for any camp or like just do time pass. He's
No
like,
having
yeah, so one of my dad's friend owns an ad agency called Pratisat Advertisings in Pune. And one day, one fine Sunday afternoon, they had come over for lunch. And my dad was having this, like, you know, how Indian parents criticize your own child in front of others. That's what
fun.
basically happened. That always happens. They will find that moment to criticize you more when there are other people at home. So that's what he did. And Abhijit Zog, who is the owner, he said, "Why don't you come and do an internship in my firm?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to go. I'm just 17. Why do it?" Like, I made a huge big deal out of it because I was not at all happy going for an internship. But I did it anyway because I was forced to. First 1 week, I was cribbing about it, but I actually started enjoying. I was the only 17-year-old in an office who, with adults filled in a very professional environment. There were 200 people in the company, and I was treated like a baby initially, but I started enjoying it because it helped me activate my creative juices, if that's the right word I'm using. But it was fun. It was really fun. The deal between me and my father was that I will do this internship until my board exam results are out. And I had to choose between mass comm and fashion designing, and thought that, mass comm, let's do that. Also, which I missed out on saying, is we had our own ad agency back then. And when I started doing internship, when I really got interested into all of this, me and my father started speaking that, what, one day the father-daughter duo will reopen our ad agency and make it a success. The old generation and the new generation. So that really helped me decide which field I want to go. My 12th board exam came and I failed 12th standard. Yeah. Today I laugh about it, but back then it was disastrous. I saw my board exam results when I was in office, and I did not tell anyone. I just came running home, locked myself in the room, and I was very scared of what people are going to say. They are going to shame me. They are going to call me all sorts of names. They are going to just, failing in 12th board is not easy, because it's 12th
Failing
board.
and any standard is not easy when you have to
It's
repeat
not
it.
easy.
And yeah, it is tough.
Yeah, it's not easy, but that is what happened. And that day was actually, I vividly remember it so much because I was preparing, like when I had locked myself in the room, I was internalizing this, that if my father sees this, I'm going to react this way, I'm going to cry, I'm going to make a big drama so that he will not scold me or beat me up and all of that. But nothing like that happened. Actually, very sweetly, he asked me, he basically called my mama, because I was very close to it and I would listen to him than anyone else. And my mama came and he just said, "Just open the door, let's talk." And we actually had a conversation. Everyone was laughing about it. They got my favorite food. That's the day when I tried beer for the first time. I had drinks with my dad. I celebrated my failure. My family was very supportive enough to tell me that this is the first failure of your life. There are going to be, as you grow older, as you become an adult, as you just keep growing older and experience life, you're going to fail in different ways multiple times. But what you have to learn is you have to always get up and get going. So that was, I think, their reaction made me realize that failure is not bad. It's actually, that phrase which I used to hear in my school, or like thought of the day, which we used to write on blackboard. It actually felt true that day, because they celebrated my failure. Like, what could be greater than this? So,
That is a
yeah,
beautiful story. But you know what? I also feel like when we fail, the first thing that we are thinking of is not I'm sad because I failed, is I'm sad
yeah,
because what are people now going to say about my failure? And how am I going to
exactly.
face all these other people and stand up to my failure? And you had an exceptional family. I think many people in India don't have the same experience as you.
Yeah. I think with me, I think I judge, when you're a kid or when you're teenagers, you don't really have the ability to understand humans on a mindset level, how they think, how they really are, but you experience it as you grow older. So
Right.
this was my experience, and because of which, so that day my dad told me, you tomorrow have to just go to work, chin up and go to work. And I think so that people wouldn't ask me questions in office, he already informed my mentor. Her name is Eva. So he already informed her, and she informed everyone that don't ask her questions and all of that. And they got a cake because, like, oh, you scored. I scored 62%, though I failed because of physics. Again, maths terrible. But I went back to work the next day, and I think that the next day onwards, I actually took my internship very seriously. Until then, I was just doing time pass.
Yeah, that's a good story. But you know what I would have done as a parent? I would have had my daughter truly deal with her failure. Like, you go and tell them, and you tell them you don't want to talk about it. And we make it easy here, but the outside world, we don't make it easy because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the real
true,
world.
true,
I would have
true.
taken it one step ahead. I'm a bad parent. Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we have the stigma around our failures not being a good place to be in, because not because we feel bad about failing, more because we are perceived as bad by others because we failed.
Yeah,
And
true. And I'll tell you, more than when I remember when I was thinking about who is going to say what and what are people going to say. Somewhere, like, a part of me knew that it's your family, right? They will still, like,
it'll be okay.
they'll be okay, sambhal ke le lenge, that kind of thing. But I was worried about my school friends judging me, because, like, 5 days later or 3 days later, I was going to meet, like, all the school friends were going to meet for one of our friends' birthday, which I had only organized, and which I actually did not get invited because they heard that I failed, which again taught me who your real friends are and who are not, because I basically organized the whole party, but I was not invited, or they didn't tell me the venue because they heard that I failed. So they basically didn't wanted me to be around them. Um,
I think that's your assumption. They could also be thinking she probably doesn't want to be with us right now and she needs space and she wants the ability to process this, and we'll make it better for her by
I
not,
don't know. Maybe I never clarified. It's been like 12 years. I have not clarified it, so I don't know.
I always say that all misunderstandings, like we go through so many misunderstandings, but just if we get curious about
Yeah,
why, right? I mean, there is our story, there is that their
that,
story, and then there is a true story. It's
yeah,
There is
yeah,
always like three versions of it. But
yeah.
it's interesting that they didn't feel like telling you what was their why behind not
Yeah,
inviting.
and I think it doesn't even matter that time. So, point being that I was more scared about what my peers are going to say, how they are going to treat me, are they going to include me in things or not? All of that. I was a teenager, 17, so I was more worried about that. But I think the people after that, I would on, and I keep saying this, that internship, those 8 months of my life, of the internship, that actually changed the trajectory of my life, because I learned a lot, not just because of the, like, work wise, in the advertising field wise, I of course learned a lot because I was doing that internship. I was working, or I was surrounded by much elderly people, like elder people or older people around
Experienced.
me. experienced people, yes, sorry, experienced people. So I used to listen. I was actually like, for the longest time they used to think that ye ladki kuch baat hi nahi karti hai because she speaks less, which is not true. I was a very good listener because I was just observing things, I was just getting to know people and things around me. In those 8 months, I realized who your true people are, who are your cheerleaders, who will be with you despite of anything, and the unnecessary noise of people. If they have left, let them go. I think that is the biggest lesson, because the friends or the people who are there for me and who always believed in me, even though I failed 12th standard, are still in my life even now, who always cheer me. So yeah, that those 8 months were quite a lot. And after that, I took admission for mass media and communications.
So my question really is that a point in time was a blip in your, in your life at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that mean to you today? Like, failures that we've experienced as kids or teenagers or even as adults. What do they
Yeah.
mean for us 10 years after?
Interesting. I've not thought about it like that, but what do they mean to me now? I think now when I face a little setback in anything, I of course momentarily I am a big crier, so I cry. I am emotional, so I get emotional. Momentarily, these things happen, but I think next day I always wake up with a fresh thought, fresh mind, and I don't let setbacks affect me so much, or affect my steps ahead, or my journey ahead. Like, it's not.
So
I'll
you've
tell you.
built resilience now because of
Yes,
those
I
failures.
have.
Now you've built resilience, some grit, and you're able to
Yes.
see a bigger picture outside of maybe what is happening in the moment to, hey,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
can this be good for me in the
Yeah,
future?
yeah, it has also helped me have an optimistic mindset.
Mm.
It has helped me, like, whatever I faced after that, like losing my father in 2016 and losing my mama in 2017, who were the, like, the who are the father and father figure in my life. Again, those lot of setbacks back to back I faced, or we faced as a family, and I went through that trauma. I went through a lot. I don't remember it entirely, but I know for a fact that in the future things will be better. In the future, I as you said, build that resilience. I build that mindset, that optimistic mindset, that in the end things will be better. Things will be good. They will be in my favor. I will work towards it, and all is good. In the end it will be good. So I think through failures, I actually, my way of looking at failures changed, to be honest. Like, I don't see it as entirely negative, which, it's always taught to you in school or in college or growing up, that it is bad, of course, but it is shown to us that it's very, very negative, like your life is over. It's shown to us like that as kids, how much ever I remember, but especially in India,
Yeah.
but
It almost
I
feels hopeless after a
yeah,
failure. It almost feels
exactly.
hopeless. But actually, there is a lot of hope, and
Yeah,
failure can fuel growth, and
yeah,
there is value for failure. In fact, in my experience, I've seen a lot of people who have never faced hardship early on in life,
yeah,
almost feeling entitled to,
yeah,
and not valuing it in a way or taking things for granted. And then later in life, when real life happens to everybody, right? And later
yeah,
in life, when they have to actually face something hard, really struggling through grappling all of those emotions and figuring out how to do that. But yeah, I mean, I keep going back to parenting, but I will say, as a parent, I've been conscious of um, the things we have. We are fortunate, right? We are privileged, but
yeah.
the things we have, how do we still create hardships for my daughter? How do we still focus on it? Should not feel like it comes easy, um, in every way. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important to feel the failure and go through
Yeah,
hardships.
yeah, yeah. I think perspective should be changed. Like in Hindi it said nazariya badlo. I think I do believe in that because I don't look at failure as entirely negative. I look at it as there's light at the end of the tunnel. So that helps me. I think lot of these philosophical things or dialogues that we hear in movies, or like thoughts that we read or hear, like famous people or successful people saying and telling you, it actually starts making sense after you hit like rock bottom or a setback. They all start making sense to you. Just like how love songs make sense to you when you fall
When
in
you're in
love. Yeah,
love.
yeah, just like that, all of this starts making sense to you after a point, and then you start believing in it so much. Like manifestation. I saw it in a movie, a Shah Rukh Khan movie called Om Shanti Om. I didn't know that that is manifestation for the longest time, but I believe in it when I saw that movie. And later on, I got to know, oh, that is actually termed as manifestation, and it is true. It is very much true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how concepts can speak to people in different ways, because that's not how I look at things. Because for me it's
Okay.
like, it's a movie, it is all made up, for God's sake, right? So, but if I read it, or
Mm.
if somebody shares their own real life experience, then it sticks with me so much
Yeah.
longer than when I see it in a movie. But I see how, you know uh, how the same thing can be absorbed by different people in different ways,
Yeah.
based on
In
their
different
own
ways.
filters, their own perceptions, our own beliefs. And there's a
Yeah.
perfect example of that. So we've
Yeah.
spoken about failure, but tell me about successes.
Successes. Where do you want me to begin?
What do you think is your biggest success?
My biggest success till now. I don't know. I wouldn't say biggest success till now. I feel like small successes which are big to me. For
Yeah.
me, okay, they
Yeah.
might not appear big like outside for the outside world, but for me, which was I leaving my job when I was not really happy and realizing that I deserve much more and I'm worth it, worth getting and achieving more, taking that plunge and starting my freelance career. That was, I think that I am proud of it because I was so much like, me, I am loyal to my work and I'm loyal to the people I work with. So I was so much like, this also very attached because I do get attached to my work and people I work with very much emotionally. So for me, that time felt like impossible. I will never be able to leave this firm and all of that. But taking that plunge when I was feeling extremely anxious, extremely nervous, am I going to make money? Like, I at least need to make at least 30,000 a month to survive. Am I going to do anything? Like, it was very dark. But luckily, I had my first project before my notice period ended. I had not signed upon it, but of course, I had a potential client came through a friend, and I think that I would count as one small success or something that I'm proud of because I would have not normally done it.
So your success really is not in terms of outcome, is in terms of feeling like you have the courage to do something that is
Yes.
extremely uncomfortable and grow through it.
Yes, yes. For me, success is growth. I will say
Grow.
that. For me, success is growth. I might not. Yeah, for me, success is growth. I always feel that if I'm here and if 2 months or 3 months or 6 months down the line I'm here, then this is growth, and that is success for me.
And that growth doesn't have to be in terms of revenue, doesn't have to be in terms of number of clients or such, but it really has to be in terms of how much you've made yourself uncomfortable, and how much you've pushed your own boundaries to get there, and how much you've like worked on.
Yeah, so primarily this because I feel that, and I strongly believe if your emotions are at a right place, then everything falls into its own place. I believe that. So for me, primarily, success is for me to get out of a comfort zone, or like just at some other place in life, and we feel a little fulfilled. That is like
Yeah.
in some way, not entirely maybe. I don't even know, like I'm too young, or I have not gone through, like I don't know what is entire 100% fulfillment. I don't know that. But feeling a little bit more
Nobody
fulfilled.
ever knows that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
but
nobody ever fully knows that, right? So
yes, feeling a little bit more fulfilled, or feeling a little like, it's just a feeling. It's about a feeling. So that is primary for me. And then of course secondary, how many clients I have or how much I'm making. And because that, like, money is important, very important. Very, it helps you do things and shape
it's a
things
tool.
and grow.
It's a
It's
very
a tool.
important tool.
Very important tool, yes. So I was very happy. Also, I feel like this, now I know that I'm very entrepreneurial. Okay. And I look at possibilities and opportunities, and like light for doing, for being an entrepreneur. Or like, I still have a dream that I want to start someday a decor business. I love decor and I want to start that business. So I see opportunities, and I didn't know back then that I was entrepreneurial, or I was even capable of being an entrepreneur, or even a budding entrepreneur, whatever you may call it, like running something on your own.
And so you know now that you are, because you
Yes.
tried, you took action, you actually got out there and said, I'm going to figure this out, right? And you were, and I think a big part of that is being comfortable with failure, because I don't think you could have left a cushion job until you felt like, it's, if I fail, worst case, if I fail, that's okay, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I was prepared that, I might just fail. Like, you are right, as you said, that I think I was comfortable with failure, which really has somewhere in the background always stayed, and which made me take those steps. But I'd also, like, I'd sort of prepared, not like I took actions on it, but I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, what? I will have to take a job. It's okay. I will get a job somewhere. I believed in myself that at least 30,000 monthly job I will get somewhere in my field. I have that kind of experience, or I am smart and I can pave path for myself. So I was very much prepared.
So then I think two things. One, you were ready to fail, but
Yeah.
you also had high enough self worth to know that you will figure it out,
Yes.
even if you
Yes.
fail.
Yes, yes, I know that I will figure it out in the end. There will be phases, there'll be patches when I will not feel like doing things, but I think, I'll tell you something. The image that I see for my future is so much more bigger and enlightened and broader in my head, at least in my head, that for to be there, I am ready to get up like thousand times whenever I fall, because I want to live. I want that version of Pranita to live a good life, or to reach there. I don't know if all of this is making sense,
Yeah.
but
And I'm excited to see what that version of Pranita is going to look like someday. And I'm rooting for you. Um,
thank
and, you know, you shared with us your successes, you shared with us your failures, and some of the intricate things that set you up as a human focused on growth. So tell us something fun about you then to close this out.
fun about me. I love to travel. So
Mm.
I mean, I have not traveled so much, but I'm hoping to. I did a solo trip last year all by myself. Last year and this year, like December and January first week. It was fun. I love to dance. I was a Kathak dancer. I left it, but I will rejoin and start it again at some point. I love to paint. I love to decor. I am a social drinker, so I go crazy when I drink. Yeah, I will drop drinks and make people drink a lot. So I am that. I love watching movies, love watching content. I love to spend time with myself as well. So I have a lot of mediums and ways to do it, which I won't reveal. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Does this qualify as fun?
Oh, yeah, all of it. Anything that
Yeah.
you feel fun is fun.
Listening to stories and telling stories is a big part of fun. So that is fun. And hustling is also fun in a more productive way. Like I complain about how I've not got sleep or I have not been able to eat on time or like whatever. I complain, but in the end, when I sleep at night, I feel like today was a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I read recently, Pranita? I read rest is not fully rest, because humans are people who like to have structure. So if like you take a week off and have nothing to do in the whole week, you're not going to feel rested because of no structure to your day if you're used to structure. So
Yes. I
so
feel lost.
and I feel that in my daughter, right? She has the weekends off, but she enjoys the weekdays. Not
Yeah.
because not because she it's more because of the lack of structure. In the weekdays, she's like, oh, I have this morning activity and then school and then evening activity, and then I go play with my friends, then I have dinner, then I talk to my grandparents or whatever. Like she has that whole routine set up. On the weekend, it just feels loose, right? She almost on most Sundays will end up telling me that I'm not having fun today. I'm like, it's your day off. Why you're not having fun? You can go do anything. She's like, no, I don't like it. I like it when I'm
Yeah.
busy. So I that makes me think it's true for me too. I also like it when I'm busy. I enjoy it when I'm busy, and I think that's what you're telling me as well.
Yes.
Even in the
Yes.
moment, if we are
We
so
are both Scorpios, so yeah.
yeah. So anyway, it was
Yeah.
really good chatting with you today, Pranita.
Thank you.
Um,
I hope that I should. So, like, I'm manifesting this today, okay? 1 year or like 8 months down the line, we'll do a part two where my company would be successful. I will have a good office space. I will have a staff of 10 to 15 people, and I will be enjoying and doing the work that I always wanted to do. And I'll be so busy that like people would, or the clients or the businesses
and
would
I
want to
have to
direct
work
me.
hard to
Yes, I
schedule this with
work
you.
hard. Yes, 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 you will have to. Yes,
Hey,
so
let's leave it on that high note then. It was really good talking to you, Pranita, and I'm rooting for you.